Online shopping gone wrong. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Story-Driven English. Have you ever seen something amazing online? Clicked buy faster than you could think, and then, well, let's just say reality didn't quite match the picture? Leans in conspiratorially. Oh, I know you have. We've all been there, dreaming of that perfect item only to receive something else entirely. Today, I've got a story about exactly that. A hilarious online shopping adventure that went spectacularly wrong. It's full of surprises, a little bit of frustration, and hopefully a lot of laughs. You'll learn some great everyday English words and phrases along the way. So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's dive into Sarah's quest for the perfect dress. And hey, if you enjoy stories that help you learn English in a fun, relaxed way, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next story adventure. Ready? Let's go! Sarah loved the internet. More specifically, she loved the shopping part of the internet. It was like a magical treasure chest that was open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From the comfort of her slightly lumpy sofa wearing her favorite pajamas, the ones with cartoon cats on them, she could explore endless possibilities. Books, gadgets, peculiar little things she didn't know she needed until she saw them. And clothes. Oh, especially clothes. There was a thrill to it, a little rush of excitement every time she found a potential bargain. Scrolling through websites felt like hunting for hidden gems. Sometimes she found amazing things, like the incredibly soft scarf she bought last winter, or the quirky lamp shaped like a pineapple that always made her smile. But other times things didn't go quite as planned. This particular Tuesday evening started like many others. Sarah was scrolling, casually browse fashion websites. She wasn't looking for anything specific, just enjoying the digital window shopping. Then, an email notification popped up. It was an invitation. Her college friend, Emily, was getting married. It wasn't just any wedding. It was going to be a rather fancy affair at an old, elegant hotel downtown. The invitation itself looked expensive, printed on thick, creamy paper with gold lettering. The dress code simply said, "Evening attire." Sarah's heart gave a little jump of excitement, quickly followed by a familiar pang of panic. Fancy wedding? Evening attire? This meant she needed a dress, not just any dress, but a special dress. Something memorable. Something stunning. Her current wardrobe, while comfortable and practical for everyday life, didn't exactly scream elegant hotel wedding. Her go-to fancy outfit was a simple black dress she'd worn to at least 3 other events. No, Emily's wedding deserved something new, something dazzling. Naturally, her first instinct wasn't to brave the crowded local shops. No, her first instinct was to open a new tab on her browser. The online hunt began. She typed in elegant evening gowns, fancy wedding guest dresses, stunning formal dresses, cheap. Okay, maybe she added the cheap part, hopefully. Weddings were expensive, even when you were just a guest. She scrolled past hundreds of dresses, black ones, blue ones, long ones, short ones, sequins, lace, satin, chiffon. It was overwhelming. Many were beautiful, but the prices made her eyes water. Others looked, well, they looked like they belonged in a low-budget costume drama. Just as her eyes were starting to glaze over, she saw it. It popped up as a sponsored ad on the side of a page she was browse. The picture was breathtaking. It was a floor-length gown in the most magnificent shade of emerald green. The description called it a luxury sequin mermaid evening gown. The dress in the photo hugged the model's figure perfectly before flaring, out at the bottom, just like a mermaid's tail. It shimmered under what looked like professional studio lighting, covered in tiny, glittering sequins that caught the light beautifully. The model looked impossibly glamorous, like a movie star on the red carpet. "Wow," Sarah breathed, leaning closer to the screen. This was it. This was the dress. It was exactly what she had pictured. Elegant, eye-catching, unforgettable. She clicked the ad. It took her to a website she'd never heard of. https://www.google.com, search glamourgalaxyfashions.com. The website looked okay, maybe a little basic, but the pictures of the dress were everywhere, taken from multiple angles, each one looking just as stunning as the first. There were photos of the back, close-ups of the sequins, even a short video of the model walking. In it, the fabric flowing gracefully. And then she saw the price. It was unbelievably low. Honestly, it seemed too good to be true. For a dress that looked like it cost a fortune, the price listed was less than a decent pair of jeans. A huge red banner flashed above it. Limited time sale, 80% off. A tiny voice of caution whispered in the back of Sarah's mind. 80% off? A website you've never heard of? Are you sure about this, Sarah? It sounded a bit skeptical. But the picture, that glorious emerald green, the shimmering sequins. She imagined herself walking into the wedding reception, heads turning, jaws dropping. Okay, maybe just Emily smiling. Happily, but a girl could dream. The bargain was just too tempting to ignore. She quickly scanned the rest of the page. There were customer reviews, 5 of them. All gave 5 stars. Absolutely beautiful dress. Looks just like picture, one said. Amazing quality for the price, fast shipping, read another. The reviews seemed a little generic, and they were all posted within the same 2 days. The skeptical voice grew a tiny bit louder. But 80% off, screamed the excited part of her brain, effectively drowning out the caution. Think of the money you'll save. It looks identical to dresses costing 10 times more. It's fate. Impulsively, driven by the siren song of a cheap, stunning dress, Sarah clicked Select Size, chose her usual size, and hit Add to Cart. Her fingers flew across the keyboard as she entered her shipping and payment information. Click Confirm. Order placed. A wave of satisfaction washed over her. She had done it. She had found the perfect dress for Emily's wedding, and she had snagged an incredible bargain. She could already anticipate the compliments. She closed the laptop with a triumphant smile. Now, all she had to do was wait. The website promised delivery within 10-15 business days. Sarah started counting immediately. Every morning, she checked her email for a shipping notification. It arrived 3 days later. A tracking number. She bookmarked the tracking page and checked it multiple times a day. Package departed sorting facility, she'd read aloud to her cat, Mittens, who just blinked slowly, unimpressed. Ooh, it's cleared customs, she announced a few days later. Mittens yawned. The wait felt agonizingly long. Sarah spent way too much time imagining the dress. She pictured its heavy, luxurious fabric, the way the sequins would sparkle under the hotel lights, the perfect fit. She even bought a pair of silver shoes online, from a reputable website this time, that she thought would complement the emerald green perfectly. She started planning her hairstyle and makeup. Her anticipation grew with each passing day. Finally, exactly 14 business days after she placed the order, the tracking website updated. Out for delivery. Sarah practically vibrated with excitement all day. She kept peering out the window, listening for the sound of the delivery truck. When the doorbell finally rang in the late afternoon, she leaped off the sofa, nearly tripping over Mittens in her haste. There it was. A package. Her first impression was confusion. It was small, surprisingly small for a floor-length mermaid gown. And it wasn't in a box. It was squashed into a gray plastic mailing bag, the kind usually used for small, inexpensive items. The bag felt suspiciously light and crinkly. It was also covered in strange symbols and foreign postage stamps, looking like it had traveled a very, very long way, possibly via a slow-moving donkey. The return address was just a jumble of letters and numbers, no company name. The skeptical voice in her head, long silenced by excitement, suddenly woke up and started clearing its throat. Okay, maybe they're just really efficient with their packaging, Sarah mumbled to herself, trying to stay positive. She took the flimsy package inside, her heart now beating with a mixture of excitement and a growing sense of dread. She placed the gray bag on her coffee table and stared at it for a moment. It felt oddly flat. She took a deep breath, grabbed a pair of scissors and carefully slit open the top. The first thing that hit her was the smell. It wasn't the pleasant scent of new clothes. It was a sharp, chemical odor, like burnt plastic mixed with cheap air freshener. "Oh dear," she whispered. She reached into the bag and pulled out something. It was green. That much was accurate, but it wasn't the deep, luxurious emerald green from the photos. It was a harsh, almost neon green, the kind of green you might find on a cheap Halloween costume or a safety vest. It certainly wasn't stunning. And the fabric. Oh, the fabric. It wasn't the heavy, flowing satin or silk she had imagined. It felt thin, scratchy, and stiff, like a cross between a plastic tablecloth and a very old shower curtain. It rustled loudly when she touched it. What? About the sequins? The tiny glittering jewels that were supposed to cover the dress? Well, there were sequins. Sort of. They were large, clumsy plastic discs, sparsely glued onto the fabric in uneven patches. Some were already falling off inside the bag, leaving little trails of sticky residue behind. They didn't shimmer. They just looked sad. Glued on sadness. The mermaid cut that was supposed to flare elegantly at the bottom. The dress hanging limply from her hands looked less like a mermaid's tail and more like a deflated balloon. It was shapeless, with crooked seams and loose threads hanging everywhere. There was a definite discrepancy between the online photo and the item in her hands. A massive, horrifying discrepancy. Sarah just stood there, holding the neon green, chemically scented, sparsely sequined plastic sheet. She looked from the dress to the memory of the glamorous photo on her laptop screen. back to the dress, back to the photo in her mind. Then she started to laugh. It wasn't a happy laugh. It was a slightly hysterical laugh, born from pure disbelief and the utter absurdity of the situation. This wasn't just not quite right. This wasn't a minor discrepancy. This was a full-blown, disastrous online shopping fail. The dress wasn't just bad. It was spectacularly, hilariously bad. "Okay," she said, catching her breath. "Okay, I have to try it on." Wriggling into the dress was an experience in itself. The scratchy fabric scraped against her skin. There was a zipper up the back, but it felt cheap and snagged halfway up. Had to perform some awkward yoga poses to finally get it closed. She turned to face the full-length mirror in her hallway. The reflection that stared back was memorable. The dress was somehow simultaneously too tight in some places, around her arms where the seams dug in, and ridiculously baggy in others, around the waist where it just hung. The mermaid flare started abruptly around her knees, making her look like she was wearing a saggy green tube with a weird ruffle stuck to the bottom. The neon green color clashed horribly with her skin tone, giving her a slightly sickly appearance under her bathroom light. A few more sequins pinged off and landed on the floor as she moved. She looked less like a glamorous movie star and more like a poorly wrapped, slightly toxic vegetable. Mittens wandered into the hallway, took one look at Sarah in the dress, let out a low hiss, and promptly ran under the sofa. "Yeah, I agree, Mittens," Sarah sighed, looking at her reflection. "It's pretty bad." The disastrous reality was undeniable. Her initial laughter faded, replaced by a wave of frustration. What was she going to do? The wedding was only 2 weeks away. She couldn't possibly wear this thing. Her first thought was, return it. Get a refund. She grabbed her laptop, her fingers flying across the keyboard once more, but this time, with anger instead of excitement. She went back to https://www.google.com, search .qtayu, glamourgalaxyfashions.com. Finding the Contact Us page was a challenge in itself, hidden away in tiny print at the bottom. There was no phone number, just an email address and a contact form. She typed out a polite but firm email explaining the situation. She described the vast discrepancy between the advertised product and the item she received. She mentioned the terrible quality, the wrong color, the smell, the falling sequins. She attached photos, one of the glorious online picture, and several unflattering shots of the actual disastrous dress, including one of her wearing it, looking miserable. She requested a full refund and instructions on how to return the item. She hit send and waited, and waited. 2 days later, she received an automated reply. "Thank you for your message. We aim to respond within 5 to 7 business days." 5 to 7 business days. The wedding was getting closer. While waiting, she tried to find the return policy on the website. It took ages, hidden under layers of confusing menus. When she finally found it, her heart sank. Returns were only accepted if the item was unworn, undamaged, and in original packaging with tags attached. Well, she had worn it for about 3 minutes. It arguably arrived damaged or at least disastrously made. The original packaging was a torn plastic bag, and there were no tags. Furthermore, the policy stated that the customer had to pay for return shipping, back to an obscure address in a far-off country. The shipping cost would likely be more than the dress itself. And even then, a refund was not guaranteed. Only store credit might be offered, subject to their inspection and approval. Store credit for more items from this terrible website? No, thank you, she realized with dawning horror. She was stuck with the toxic mermaid dress. Getting a refund seemed highly unlikely. The incredible bargain had turned into a complete waste of money. The skeptical voice in her head was now doing a loud, "I told you so" dance. Another week passed. Still no real response from Glamour Galaxy Fashions. Just another automated email saying they were experiencing high volumes. Sarah felt foolish and frustrated. She had been so caught up in the anticipation and the seemingly amazing deal that she had ignored all the red flags. The impulsive click had led to this neon green nightmare. With the wedding looming large, panic truly set in. She needed a dress, and she needed it now. There was no time for more online shopping roulette. That Saturday, Sarah did something she hadn't done in ages. She went to an actual physical shop, a department store downtown. It felt strange at first. Bright lights, real people, racks and racks of clothes she could actually touch and see properly before buying. She explained her situation, briefly, leaving out the more embarrassing details of the neon disaster, to a kind-looking sales assistant. The assistant was sympathetic and helpful, guiding her towards the evening wear section. Sarah tried on several dresses. A navy blue one that was elegant, but a bit boring. A silver sequined one that was a little too flashy. And then she found it. A simple, classic knee-length dress in a beautiful deep burgundy color. The fabric felt smooth and comfortable. It fit perfectly. It wasn't the show-stopping, mermaid-cut, emerald green fantasy she had initially imagined, but it was lovely. It was elegant, appropriate, and most importantly, it looked exactly like it was supposed to. No surprises, no chemical smell, no falling sequins. She bought it immediately, feeling immensely relieved. It cost significantly more than the disastrous online dress, but it was worth every penny for the peace of mind. She also bought a matching clutch bag. Walking out of the store with her purchases in proper shopping bags felt surprisingly satisfying. Emily's wedding was wonderful. The old hotel was beautiful, the ceremony was touching, and the reception was great fun. Sarah wore her burgundy dress and felt comfortable and confident. She danced, chatted with old friends, and complimented Emily on her truly stunning and, presumably not bought from Glamour Galaxy Fashions, wedding gown. No one's jaw dropped when she walked in, but she received several genuine compliments on her dress. She felt happy and relieved she had found a suitable replacement. And what happened to the infamous neon green mermaid dress? Sarah couldn't bring herself to throw it away. It was too monumentally bad, too symbolic of her online shopping folly. She folded it carefully. It rustled loudly in protest, and tucked it away at the back of her wardrobe. Sometimes when she needs a good laugh, or when she's tempted by an online deal that seems too good to be true, she pulls it out. She holds up the scratchy neon sequin-shedding fabric and remembers her Glamour Galaxy Fashions adventure. It serves as a hilarious, tangible reminder. Always read the reviews carefully. Be skeptical of unbelievable bargains. Check the return policy before you click buy. And maybe, just maybe, sometimes it's worth visiting a real shop. The anticipation of online shopping can be fun, but the reality check can be, well, disastrously funny. She learned her lesson, albeit the hard way. Never again would she be so impulsive with a website she didn't trust, no matter how stunning the picture looked. Wow, poor Sarah. But hey, at least she got a funny story out of it, right? And hopefully, you learned some useful English words watching her experience unfold. It just goes to show, if a deal looks too good to be true online, it probably is. Always be a little skeptical. Let's quickly review some of the key vocabulary we heard repeated throughout Sarah's shopping adventure. Key vocabulary repeated throughout. Stunning. Adjective. Extremely beautiful or attractive. Example. The dress in the online photo looked stunning. Bargain. Noun. Something bought or offered for sale much more cheaply than is usual or expected. Example. Sarah thought she had found an incredible bargain. Skeptical. Adjective. Not easily convinced, having doubts or reservations. Example. A skeptical voice warned Sarah about the website. Anticipate. Verb. To expect or predict something. To look forward to something. Example. Sarah started to anticipate wearing the dress to the wedding. Discrepancy. Noun. A lack of compatibility or similarity between two or more facts. A difference. Example. There was a huge discrepancy between the photo and the actual dress. Flimsy. Adjective. Comparatively light and easily damaged. Weak. Example. The dress arrived in a flimsy plastic bag. Disastrous. Adjective. Causing great damage. Highly unsuccessful. Example. The dress was a disastrous online shopping fail. Refund. Noun, verb. A repayment of a sum of money. To pay back. Funny. Example. Sarah tried to get a refund for the terrible dress. Relieved. Adjective. No longer feeling distressed or anxious. Reassured. Example. Sarah felt relieved when she finally found a suitable dress in a real store. Impulsive. Adjective. Acting or done without forethought. Acting on impulse. Example. Her impulsive click led to the dress disaster. Try using these words this week. Maybe tell a friend about a time you had an online shopping experience with a big discrepancy. And that's our story for today here on Story Driven English. Did you enjoy Sarah's disastrous dress adventure? Did it make you laugh? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about your own funny online shopping stories. If you found this story helpful for your English learning journey, please give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And don't forget to share it with any friends who are also learning English or just love a good story. Most importantly, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can join us for more fun English learning. Stories, thanks so much for watching. Keep practicing, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.